No matter who you are, no matter what you do, everyone has a story to tell. I'm recording artist Mark Tara. Welcome to Spotlight. Hello, and welcome to Spotlight, a show that features talented individuals with interesting stories to tell. So, let's see who's stepping into the spotlight today. On today's episode of Spotlight, jazz artist MICAH Barnes.
Spotlight.
I think I first realized I wanted to be a musician when I was 12. I'd been in acting class, I had been in dance class, I had been, very, very lucky because my parents were in the business. My dad was a classical composer. My mom wrote for television for Mr. Dressup, actually. I just lived in the world of imagination, which was very encouraged. And so I was taken to ballet and, taken to theater and opera and very lucky. I was born in Vienna. I had like a real cultural upbringing, and it seemed natural for me to continue to be in that playground. And then when I was 12, jazz and blues just started to pull me like a unbeatable force. I loved playing the Toronto music scene in the early 80s. It was fresh. There was a whole lot of new ideas happening. You never knew what new idea was going to take over the town. So it was a very energized and exciting time to be a musician. When I started, you could actually be performing in a venue 6 nights out of 7, and you could pay the band. So, I had a show that I rehearsed, and had a different cabaret show every couple of months. And I began to really understand what it was to nurture an audience and create a relationship with a specific audience. That was incredibly good for me. And when I switched gears and jumped ship from the cabarets and jazz clubs into the rock venues of Queen Street, it was a whole other deal, very much about, creating an aura of mystery and of intrigue, and how one dressed or how one acted became, an important piece of the music. It was the 80s, right? So how you dressed the music up seemed to count a great deal. And I learned a lot about myself, how much I would or wouldn't have truck with the mainstream, what would or would not work for me, and who I was, because I was very young. But I was very lucky to work with great musicians. Toronto was spectacular that way. We really had so many wonderful players, and there was a real scene. The Queen Street scene was truly about camaraderie and supporting each other, and we really had a sense of belonging to each other. Oh my God, joining the Nylons was probably the best thing that ever happened to me. I had grown up as a solo artist, and when they asked me to join, I didn't know how to sing harmony, I didn't know how to remember choreography and sing at the same time. And then you had to be a real personality in between. So it was being thrown into the deep end. And by the time I joined, the guys had that incredible worldwide reputation. They were hard workers. They were determined to get every aspect of the business right. And I was really mentored by the guys. And how lucky am I, a kid off Queen Street, getting to join a world-class act and go around the world with them, recording. And I don't know, you never know what's gonna happen in a career. And that was my break. Allowed me to learn and grow and become who I am. Well, Welcome to My Head came about, because producer Barry Harris, who was one half of Thunderpuss at that time, we're Canadians, we knew each other. I had come to him when I was making my first solo record, post-Nylons, called Loud Boy Radio. And he loved the sound of that record. He liked the aggressive rock and roll and very sort of out queer aspect to the whole recording. It was all about my adolescence, And I have to say that we started working together towards something for that record, and it didn't connect because suddenly Thunderpuss blew up. And he basically said, I love your record, I'd love to work with you, but we're remixing Whitney Houston and Christina Aguilera and Madonna. So we'll talk to you when things slow down, right? Which was awesome, because when things started to shift for them, Thunderpuss came to me and said that they wanted to do a song that would be based on that loud boy persona, that kind of aggressive rock and roll sound. And we did Welcome to My Head. Barry wrote the tune, and I'll tell you something, it was at the top of my range. And I had to tour that sucker. It was a challenge, you know, to sing it night after night, to be able to deliver it with the same kind of integrity and authenticity that we created in the record. And for some reason, it just really took off. I mean, we had the Thunderpuss reputation, and of course, you know, we got on Will and Grace, and all kinds of nice little bumps like that kind of helped us along the way. But when it became a #1 Billboard hit, it was the only one that was Indian, had never been signed to a label. So we felt really, really, you know, proud of it. Of course, you know, that it went to England and went around the world. The thing is that many, many records came after that sort of took that aggressive, dark vibe and sort of took us away from that world of the circuit mixes into something darker and more interesting. And so we feel really proud of it. And it changed the game for me, because I had a new level of respect and a new level of reach in the industry, as it were. You know, a #1 record will do that for you. You know, the creative process I go through is a bit of a mystery, I have to admit. It's very clear that the words, the lyrics, the narrative, the emotional story of a song is often what's born first, rather than, say, the melody or the chords or the music. And I'll know it's a song if I feel like there's a human moment that I've been able to express a certain kind of a perspective on. Because I compose from my voice, and I compose at the piano, there's a certain kind of a flavor that happens in my writing. A song doesn't really get born unless I've got this emotional place that I can't figure out, I can't name, and I can't use words to describe, and then that's when a song will happen, you know? When I can't process it in the course of normal life, then there's probably a song waiting to get born, and that's how most of them happen. New York Stories is what's coming up for me in my future, which I wrote in New York, just filled with the musical vibration of that city, you know. And the songs they're very old school, traditional jazz and blues, but with a real modern perspective. So we're just starting to put the shows together. So it's a busy, busy time. You know, spring and summer and fall are always just really delicious for the live shows. In the meantime, I'm on my way to Hong Kong to do a show, and then come back and do a Nylons reunion show. And then we're gonna do the Brill Building show that I do with some of the boys, and you know, up in Gravenhurst at the Opera House there, and over at the Stratford Summer Music Festival. All kinds of, you know, sort of mysterious, interesting things coming up in the future around the release of New York Stories. Hello, I am MICAH Barnes, jazz singer-songwriter and lover.
Spotlight.
Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, if you like what we're doing, subscribe to our channel. Remember, we live in days of making dreams come true. So until the next time, we turn the spotlight on you.